My name is Amelia Carter. I'm 29 years old. And the strangest thing I've ever done started with a carton of oat milk and a boyfriend who was absolutely convinced I couldn't survive without him. Looking back now, the warning signs were everywhere. For 3 years, I dated Brandon Hayes, 27. Charming when people were watching, and quietly condescending when they weren't. We had been living together in my apartment for almost 18 months. He had this habit of reminding me how lucky I was. You'd be lost without me. He'd say whenever he organized something, my ex-girlfriend could never keep up with me the way you do. Honestly, Baba, I practically run your life. At the time, I laughed it off. Comfort has a way of disguising disrespect. The argument that changed everything happened on a Saturday morning. I'd stopped by the grocery store after the gym. When I got home, Brandon immediately frowned. "Where's the oat milk?" "In the fridge." He opened it. His expression darkened. "This isn't the right one." I stared at him. "It's oat milk." "No. This is regular oat milk." I felt my patience slipping. "Brandon, it's literally the same brand." "It is not the same." I asked for the barista blend. Unsweetened. From the organic market. I dropped my gym bag onto the floor. "Then maybe buy it yourself." The room went silent. Vanessa, his best friend, it was sitting on the couch, waiting for him so they could leave for brunch. Brandon laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind that carried contempt. "There it is. There what is. The reason I have to handle everything." I blinked. "What are you talking about? You never pay attention. You never remember details. You're incapable of functioning without somebody cleaning up after you." Vanessa snorted. I looked at her. She quickly looked away. Brandon crossed his arms. "Honestly, Amelia, you're like a child sometimes." The words hit harder than I expected. Not because they were true, because suddenly I realized how often I'd heard variations of them. Thousands of little cuts over 3 years. I took a breath. "It's oat milk." "It's not about the milk." "Then what's it about?" He smirked. "It's about the fact that you need me for everything." Something shifted inside me. A tiny crack. The first crack, then Brandon delivered the sentence that changed both our lives. "You couldn't survive a week without me." Vanessa burst out laughing. "Oh my God. That's so true." I looked at both of them. Neither seemed to realize how insulting they sounded. Brandon leaned against the counter. "You know what? I bet you $10,000 you can't." The room became strangely quiet. I narrowed my eyes. "What?" "I bet you 10 grand you can't last 1 week without me." Vanessa laughed harder. "Please do it." She'd come crawling back in 2 days. Brandon pointed at me. 1 week. No help. No contact. Nothing. For a moment, I just stared. Then I saw it. The certainty. The absolute confidence that I needed him. That I was weaker than him. That I would fail. And suddenly, I wasn't angry anymore. I was calm. Dangerously calm. "Deal." His smile vanished. "What?" "I accept." The color drained from his face. "Amelia? Come on." "No." I pulled out my phone. "You made a bet." I was joking. "Really?" I opened the voice recorder. "Then let's clarify." Vanessa stopped laughing. I held up my phone. "Brandon, are you betting me $10,000 that I cannot last 1 week without you?" He rolled his eyes. "Oh my God. Yes or no?" He sighed dramatically. "Yes." $10,000. "Yes." 1 week. "Yes." I turned toward Vanessa. "You heard that?" She giggled. "Yep. I saved the recording. Then, I sent Brandon a text. Just confirming our bet. $10,000. That I cannot last 1 week without you. Starting now." A few seconds later, his response appeared. "Easy money." "Baba." I stared at the screen. Then I grabbed my overnight bag. Neither of them expected me to leave. Neither of them followed me. That was the moment everything changed. I stayed with my older sister Rachel. The first day, Brandon texted constantly. "Where are you? Seriously. Stop being dramatic." I never answered. The rules were simple. No contact. Day 2 brought annoyance. Day 3 brought anger. Day 4 brought demands. By day 5, panic had started creeping into his messages. Okay. Enough. Come home. This isn't funny anymore. I have plans Friday. You need to drive me. The irony almost made me laugh. Apparently, the woman who couldn't survive without him was doing just fine. Meanwhile, the man who supposedly ran my life suddenly couldn't manage his own schedule. During that week, I worked normally, cooked my meals, did my laundry, went to the gym, paid my bills, handled everything. And for the first time in years, I noticed something. Life felt peaceful. There were no criticisms, no little comments, no reminders about how fortunate I was to have him. Just silence and clarity. By the 7th day, I wasn't counting hours anymore. I was counting realizations. At exactly the same minute the bet had started, I sent one text. I won. You owe me $10. Ling, ling. The response was immediate. 23 missed calls in less than 10 minutes. Then messages. Are you serious? It was a joke. Stop being ridiculous. Come home. I typed carefully. A biet is a biet. You have 30 days to pay. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then came a message that made me smile. You're really willing to destroy our relationship over this? I stared at the screen for a long moment, because for the first time, I understood something. The relationship wasn't being destroyed by the person enforcing the agreement. It had been damaged long before that. The bet had simply exposed the truth, and Brandon had no idea how much evidence I was already collecting. The day after I demanded the money, Brandon showed up at my sister Rachel's house. I wasn't surprised. What surprised me was how quickly he switched tactics. 1 minute he was furious. The next he was heartbroken. Then angry again. Then charming. It was like watching someone cycle through every manipulation strategy they knew, hoping one of them would finally work. Rachel opened the door. Before I could, Brandon stood on the porch holding flowers. I just want to talk. No, Rachel said. His jaw tightened. Amelia. Please. I stayed behind her. We already talked. No. We didn't. You told me I couldn't survive without you. His face darkened. It was a joke. A $10,000 joke. His expression flickered. That hesitation told me everything. For the first time, Brandon was realizing I wasn't backing down. The flowers slowly lowered. You're seriously doing this? Yes. His eyes hardened. Then he left. That was when the real war began. First came social pressure. Mutual friends started messaging me. Most of them had only heard Brandon's version. Apparently I was a bitter ex-girlfriend, trying to extort money from a man who had made an innocent joke. I responded to each message with the same screenshot. The bet. His confirmation. His text. Easy money. Baba. The responses changed immediately. A few people apologized. Others stopped replying entirely. Then Brandon made his biggest mistake. He posted online. Can you believe my ex is trying to steal $10,000 from me over an obvious joke? Some people can't handle being dumped. I stared at the post, then smiled. Because Brandon had forgotten one thing. Facts exist. I uploaded the screenshot, then the audio recording, then his written confirmation. I didn't write a paragraph. I only wrote one sentence. Here is the joke. The internet did the rest. Comments exploded. You literally made the bet. Why would you confirm it in writing? This is embarrassing. Pay your debt. Play stupid games. Lose stupid prizes. Within hours the post disappeared. But screenshots last forever, especially when someone like me has already saved everything. A few days later, Brandon tried something even more ridiculous. He called my company. My manager summoned me into her office. The moment I sat down, she started trying not to laugh. Your ex-boyfriend called. Isaihu, let me guess. He claims you're harassing him. I handed her my folder. She skimmed through the evidence. Then she looked up. He bet you $10,000. Yes. He lost. Yes. And now he's mad. Yes. She burst out laughing. Please get out of my office. Am I fired? No. Am I in trouble? No. She pointed toward the door. Go back to work before I laugh harder. Another failed attack. Another piece of evidence. Another reason I documented everything. Then came the family. His mother Diane called me first. I answered because curiosity got the better of me. The moment I picked up, she exploded. How dare you do this to my son? I pulled the phone away from my ear. Hello to you too. You're trying to ruin his future. He made the bet. It was a joke. Then why did he confirm it? Silence. Brief, but noticeable. Then she changed directions. He's a man. I blinked. What does that have to do with anything? You can't take money from a man over silly banter. I almost laughed. The logic was impressive. He offered. It wasn't serious. Then he shouldn't have confirmed it. You know what I mean. No. Actually, I don't. She hung up. The next week became a parade of excuses. Brandon tried guilt. Brandon tried anger. Brandon tried nostalgia. Every message sounded different. Every message had the same goal. Make Amelia quit. Then something unexpected happened. Brandon got a new girlfriend. Her name was Claire. I learned about her through social media. 2 weeks after our breakup. 2 weeks. I wasn't jealous. I was fascinated, because it confirmed exactly what I had started realizing. Brandon didn't need relationships. He needed validation. Unfortunately for him, Claire didn't stay impressed very long. One afternoon, I was finishing a workout when a woman approached me outside the gym. Tall, blonde, nervous. It took me a second to recognize her. Claire, can we talk? I nodded. She looked uncomfortable. Brandon told me about the money. Did he tell you the whole story? No. I wasn't surprised. Claire sighed. He said you manipulated him. I opened my phone, pulled up the screenshots, then played the recording. By the end, she looked stunned. He really said all that? Yes. And he confirmed it? Yes. Claire stared into space. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind people make when they realize they've been lied to. I knew something felt off. 2 days later, they broke up. Brandon sent me 6 angry texts that night. Apparently that was somehow my fault too. By then, I had stopped reacting emotionally. I simply saved everything. Screenshot. Archive. Store. Repeat. The 30-day deadline arrived. No payment. Not even close. So I sent a formal demand letter. Rachel's husband was a legal assistant. He helped me draft it properly. Professional. Clear. Documented. Brandon now had 15 additional days before court. His reaction was spectacular. The next evening, his mother Diane appeared at my apartment. She wasn't alone. A woman I had never seen before stood beside her. This is Melissa, Diane announced. Melissa immediately crossed her arms. I'm Brandon's best friend. I almost smiled. Since when? A few weeks. Interesting. Apparently Brandon replaced friends as quickly as girlfriends. Diane stepped forward. You need to stop this. I don't. You're ruining his life. No. I pointed toward the demand letter. His decisions are doing that. Melissa rolled her eyes. This is about control. I laughed. Actual laughter. Because it was impossible not to. I haven't spoken to Brandon in weeks. You're obsessed. I'm collecting a debt. Diane suddenly pulled out her checkbook. My eyebrows rose. What are you doing? I'll give you $500. I stared at her. The debt is $10,000. Then $1,000. The debt is $10,000. Her face turned red. You would really take him to court? Absolutely. Melissa muttered something under her breath. Diane snapped her checkbook shut. They left furious. I saved the security camera footage, just in case. The final 15 days were chaos. Brandon called from new numbers. Blocked. Sent emotional emails. Archived. Left voicemails. Saved. One night, he appeared outside my apartment, holding a bottle of wine. The same wine we used to drink during anniversaries. For a brief second, I saw the man I thought I loved. Then I remembered the smirk, the bet, the insults, the certainty that I needed him, and the illusion disappeared. "I miss us," he whispered. I looked directly into his eyes. "Pay me." His face fell. "Amelia, pay me. We can fix this. Pay me." His expression transformed instantly. Love vanished. Anger returned. "There it is. The real Brandon. The one hiding underneath all the charm." He pointed at me. "You're heartless." I calmly opened my apartment door. "See you in court." The deadline expired. 3 days later. No payment. No apology. No accountability. So, I did exactly what I promised. I filed the lawsuit. And when Brandon was officially served 2 days later, his meltdown began. The frantic voicemails, the threats, the insults, the panic. For the first time since the bet, Brandon finally understood something. I wasn't bluffing. And now a judge was about to decide how expensive his arrogance would become. The morning of the hearing felt strangely peaceful. For nearly 2 months, Brandon had treated the entire situation like a game. A misunderstanding, a joke, a problem that would magically disappear if he complained loudly enough. Court day was the first moment reality finally caught up with him. I arrived early. Every piece of evidence was organized. Recordings, screenshots, text message, witness statements, copies of demand letters, copies of social media posts, everything neatly arranged inside a binder. I wasn't nervous. I was prepared. Brandon arrived 15 minutes later. The confidence he'd carried for weeks was gone. His lawyer walked beside him. His mother Diane followed close behind, and Brandon looked exhausted. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then I remembered standing in my own kitchen, while he laughed about how helpless I supposedly was. The sympathy disappeared. The judge entered. An older woman with the expression of someone who had seen every possible version of human foolishness. The case began. Brandon's attorney spoke first. He argued that no reasonable person would interpret the wager as a legally binding agreement. According to him, the entire thing was clearly a joke between romantic partners. The judge listened quietly. Then she looked at me. "Do you have evidence?" "Yes, Your Honor." I handed over the recording. A few moments later, my voice filled the courtroom. "Brandon, are you betting me $10,000 that I cannot last 1 week without you?" Then Brandon's voice. "Yes." The judge continued listening. My confirmation. His confirmation. Vanessa's laughter. The terms. The agreement. Everything. When the recording ended, the room became silent. The judge opened the text messages next. She slowly read them. Then, she looked directly at Brandon. "Did you send these?" His lawyer shifted in his seat. Brandon swallowed. "Yes." "Did you agree to the wager?" "Yes." "Did you confirm it in writing?" "Yes." The judge nodded. Then she looked at me. "Did you complete the challenge?" "Yes." "Did you contact him during that week?" "No." "Do you have records supporting that?" "Yes." I handed over additional documentation. Phone looks, message, dates, timestamps. Everything matched. The judge studied the evidence. Then she turned back toward Brandon. Did she fulfill the conditions? He looked trapped. Because there was nowhere left to run? Yes. His attorney immediately jumped in. "Your Honor, my client never believed she would actually complete the challenge." The judge raised an eyebrow. "That sounds like a poor prediction. Not a legal defense." Several people in the gallery chuckled. The lawyer sat down. The judge returned her attention to Brandon. "You expected to win?" "Yes." "So you believed the wager was real when you expected a payout?" Brandon opened his mouth, then closed it again. The trap had been set, and he had walked directly into it. The judge continued reviewing evidence. Then she discovered something else. The call with Brandon's father, a recording from weeks earlier. The judge listened carefully. His father warning him. His father telling him the bet could become legally enforceable. His father admitting Brandon called him immediately afterward, laughing about it. When the recording ended, Brandon looked horrified. His father was sitting in the gallery, head lowered, unable to make eye contact. The judge folded her hands. Mr. Hayes, your own father warned you about the consequences. Brandon stared at the floor. No answer. The judge continued. You made the offer. Silence. You established the terms. Silence. You confirmed the terms. Silence. You had a witness. Silence. You expected to receive $10,000 if she failed. Silence. The judge leaned back. This is one of the clearest contract disputes I have seen in quite some time. I could actually hear Diane gasp. Brandon's lawyer made one final attempt. Your Honor, my client cannot afford $10,000. The judge looked unimpressed. That does not invalidate the debt. But the financial hardship. Did your client voluntarily make the wager? Yes. Then your client voluntarily accepted the risk. The courtroom became very quiet. Then the judge delivered her ruling. I will never forget Brandon's face. Never. His entire world seemed to stop moving. The judge found in my favor. $10,000. Plus court costs. Every cent. For a few seconds, Brandon simply stared. Then he exploded. This is ridiculous. The judge immediately shut him down. Control yourself. It was a joke. You have made that argument repeatedly. His face turned bright red. She's doing this because she's bitter. The judge glanced at the timeline. Based on the evidence, she left, after successfully completing the wager. More silence. More humiliation. More consequences. The hearing ended shortly afterward. Outside the courthouse. Diane intercepted me. Her expression looked exhausted, defeated, angry, all at once. You got what you wanted. I looked at her calmly. No. She frowned. What does that mean? I wanted accountability. For the first time. She had no response. A few feet away, Brandon was arguing with his attorney. His voice echoed through the parking lot. Everyone could hear him. Everyone could see him. And everyone knew exactly why he had lost. Not because he was unlucky. Because he was arrogant. The following 60 days passed quickly. The court gave Brandon time to pay. He didn't. I wasn't surprised. Nothing throughout the entire ordeal suggested he would suddenly become responsible. Eventually, I began the wage garnishment process. His employer received the order. A portion of every paycheck started coming directly toward satisfying the judgment. The reaction was immediate. Brandon returned to social media. Again, apparently he hadn't learned anything. He posted long emotional rants. He accused me of ruining his future. He accused the legal system of corruption. He accused everyone except himself. The comments were brutal. Didn't you lose in court? Pay your debt. Actions have consequences. You literally made the bet. One post lasted less than 2 hours before he deleted it. Another disappeared within minutes. The internet was no longer interested in his excuses. Then came one final attempt at revenge. Brandon started showing up at events where my coworkers gathered. He flirted aggressively, tried making me jealous, tried creating drama. It failed spectacularly. One coworker eventually approached me. Your ex talks about you constantly. I laughed. That sounds exhausting. It is. What does he say? Mostly that you ruined his life. I smiled. No. He did that himself. The coworker nodded. That's kind of what everyone thinks. That conversation spread. Soon more people knew. Then more. Then more. Every time Brandon tried rewriting history, someone inevitably discovered the evidence. The screenshots, the recordings, the court ruling. Reality remained stubbornly consistent. Months later, his newest girlfriend left after learning the full story. Then another. Apparently, most women weren't impressed by a man who publicly mocked his partner. Lost a lawsuit. And still blamed everyone else. The strangest message arrived nearly a year later. It came from Brandon's father. A simple text. You taught him a lesson I never could. I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied. He taught it to himself. Because that was the truth. I didn't force Brandon to make the bet. I didn't force him to insult me. I didn't force him to confirm the wager. I didn't force him to ignore multiple chances to resolve it. Every step belonged to him. As for me, I used part of the recovered money to take a solo vacation. One evening, while watching the sunset from a quiet beach, I posted a photo. The caption was simple. Turns out, I can survive a lot longer than a week without you. Within an hour, Brandon commented, pathetic. I smiled, then replied, still paying me. Though, a few minutes later, the comment disappeared. He had blocked me. Again, last I heard, he still owed thousands. The garnishment continued. Slow, steady, unavoidable, and every payday served as a reminder of the lesson he never thought he'd learn. The woman he claimed couldn't survive without him turned out to be the one person he couldn't escape.